The ruined alien city lay under a black sky. Smoke covered the stars. Broken buildings stood like skeletons while fires burned in the distance. Explosions shook the ground from time to time. The air was heavy with dust, blood, and fear. Inside a crowded field hospital, the scene was just as chaotic. Human and alien doctors rushed from one patient to another. People cried for help. Machines beeped fast. Medical supplies ran out every hour. It was a war zone inside a tent. Daniel Ward, a human engineer, moved from one corner to another with a crate in his arms. He was not a soldier. He was not a doctor. But he had stayed behind to help repair machines and carry supplies. His face was tired and covered with dirt. His hands shook from stress, but he kept moving. Every small action helped someone survive a little longer. As he placed the crate on a table, he heard a soft voice behind a thin curtain. It was not loud. It was not strong. It sounded like someone who was losing their last bit of breath. Daniel paused. He looked around. No one else heard it. He stepped closer and pulled the curtain aside. A young alien woman lay on a metal bed. Her body was thin. Her skin was pale silver with a soft glow that pulsed slowly like a dying ember. Her chest rose and fell in weak movements. Dark marks around her ribs showed she was badly injured. She looked as if she had already accepted her fate. 2 alien nurses whispered near her feet. One said she would not survive the night. The other said she had no family to take her home. No one claimed her. No one visited her. She was dying alone in a loud, cold hospital tent filled with strangers. Daniel felt something heavy in his chest. He did not know her. He had never seen her species before. But the loneliness in the room felt stronger than the pain. The alien girl slowly opened her eyes. They were bright violet and full of fear and sadness. She looked at Daniel as if she had been waiting for him. Her lips parted. "Human, please come closer." Daniel walked to her side. She lifted her trembling hand and held a small glass tablet. He gently took it from her. Her voice was weak. "Can you help me sign something before I die?" Daniel frowned. He looked down at the glowing text on the tablet. His heart stopped for a moment. It was a marriage document. Her species believed that no soul could pass into their afterlife without a life partner. It was an ancient law of their culture. A person who died without bonding would wander forever, unable to find peace. Daniel looked around. "Where is your family? Your people?" Her eyes filled with tears. "No one came. No one wants a dying girl. They say a bond with a dying person brings bad luck." Daniel felt anger rise in him. Not at her, at the cruelty of fate. She looked up at him again. "I do not want to die alone. Please. You are kind. You stopped when no one else did." Daniel felt his throat tighten. He wanted to say no. He wanted to say he was not the right person. He was just an engineer. He did not know her name. He did not know anything about her. But he saw fear in her eyes. Not fear of pain. Fear of dying without a hand to hold. Bombs shook the ground again. A loud alarm rang through the hospital. Dust fell from the ceiling. Nurses ran past them shouting orders. The alien girl reached out with her thin hand. Her voice was almost gone. "Please, be the one." Daniel looked at the tablet. His heart pounded. This was not a small request. It would change something inside him, maybe forever. But she was alone, scared, dying. He nodded slowly. Her eyes softened with relief. Daniel pressed his thumb to the glowing tablet. The screen lit up with bright colors as it accepted the bond. At the same moment, a sharp pulse of energy shot up his arm. It felt warm, like a heartbeat that was not his own. Her eyes widened. She looked shocked. Daniel felt as if something connected his chest to hers, as if an invisible thread tied them together. Before he could understand what happened, doctors rushed in. "Her heart is stopping." They pushed Daniel aside. Machines beeped fast. Nurses shouted numbers. Light flickered around her body. Her skin glowed bright white for a moment. Then the glow faded. Her chest stopped moving. A doctor whispered that she was gone. Daniel stood frozen. He did not know why, but tears rolled down his cheeks. He had known her for only a moment, yet he felt something deep break inside him. The bond had not been just a ritual. It had done something real. He stepped back to her bedside and held her cold hand. He felt nothing under her skin, but inside his own chest, something warm pulsed. Soft, steady, alive. It was not his heartbeat. Daniel stood alone in the dark corner of the hospital, surrounded by death and war. Yet inside him, something new began to move, something connected to her, something that refused to die. Daniel walked out of the hospital tent with slow steps. The night air was cold and thick with smoke. Distant explosions lit the sky in brief flashes. Soldiers hurried around him, but he barely saw them. His mind was still inside the tent with the alien girl whose hand he had held. He touched his chest. There was again a soft pulse under his skin, warm, gentle, alive. It did not match his heartbeat. It felt like a heartbeat that belonged to someone else, someone who should have been gone. Daniel tried to shake the feeling away. He told himself it was stress. It was grief. It was a shock of watching someone die right in front of him. He kept walking toward the human camp, hoping the pulse would fade. It did not. At the camp entrance, a guard stopped him. "You look pale. Are you all right?" Daniel forced a small smile. "Just tired." He walked past a guard and entered the tent he shared with other engineers. Most of them were asleep. Only a single lamp burned in the corner. He sat on his bed and took a deep breath. The pulse inside him grew stronger. He closed his eyes. For a moment there was silence. Then he heard a soft whisper. Not outside, inside his mind. It sounded like a voice underwater, far away yet clearly calling to him. Daniel opened his eyes fast. He looked around. No one was speaking. His tent mate slept quietly. The whisper came again. A gentle voice. A woman's voice. Her voice. It said one word. Daniel. Daniel stood up quickly, his heart racing. He stepped outside the tent and looked around the dark camp. The night wind carried the smell of burned metal and dust. But he heard nothing with his ears. Only inside. He closed his eyes again and listened. Her voice spoke softly. "I am here." Daniel felt cold fear travel up his spine. She had died. He had seen her body fade. He had held her hand when her last breath left her lips. Yet something from her was still alive. The pulse inside him grew warmer. It spread across his chest, down his arms, and into his fingertips. It did not feel dangerous. It felt like someone was trying to reach him. Someone gentle. Someone in pain. He took slow breaths. He whispered quietly, "Are you real?" The answer came instantly. "Yes." Her voice was fragile, like a candle flame fighting against the wind. Daniel felt his legs weaken. He sat on a crate beside the tent and covered his face with his hands. This was impossible. Humans did not hear voices of the dead. Humans did not share heartbeats. Humans did not feel someone else's emotions inside their own mind. But he did, because of the bond. He whispered again, "Where are you?" Her voice trembled. "I do not know. It is dark. I cannot move. I cannot open my eyes. I feel cold, but I also feel you. You are warm. Do not leave me." Daniel felt his throat tighten again. He remembered her last moment. He remembered how she looked at him with hope and fear. He remembered signing the tablet because he did not want her to die alone. He had promised her a bond. He did not know the bond would stay alive even after death. He pressed his hand to his chest again. "What happened to you? Are you alive or not?" Her voice weakened. "I am somewhere between. I am not in my body, but I am not gone." Daniel felt her fear through the bond. It hit him like a wave inside his chest. Her fear was cold, sharp, lonely. She whispered again, "Please, find me." Daniel stood up quickly. "Find you where?" But she did not answer. Only the pulse remained, soft, sad, calling for him. Daniel began walking back toward the alien hospital. Something inside him told him she was not far. The bond felt like a thread pulling him forward. He walked past sleeping soldiers, past broken vehicles, past burning ruins. Each step he took made the pulse stronger. When he reached the hospital tent again, he pushed inside. Nurses were in chaos. Doctors shouted at each other. Someone cried in shock. Daniel grabbed a nurse. What happened? She pointed at the bed where the alien girl had been lying. The bed was empty. No sheet, no body, nothing. The nurse whispered, "She is gone. Someone took her." Daniel felt the pulse inside him tighten like a knot. Her presence grew stronger. Her fear hit him again. She was not dead, not fully, not lost, and she was calling for him. Daniel stepped outside the tent and looked at the ruined city. The wind blew dust across the ground. The night was getting colder. He whispered quietly, "I am coming." Then he followed the pull in his chest into the dark ruins ahead of him. Daniel stepped away from the hospital tent and stood under the broken metal roof that barely held together. The night air pressed against his skin. The strange pulse in his chest grew sharper, almost like a hand pulling him forward. He looked around the silent ruins. The city seemed dead, but something inside him whispered that she was not. He began walking. His boots crunched softly on shattered glass. Wind pushed loose dust across the empty streets. A half-destroyed tower leaned dangerously to one side. A flickering streetlight cast weak circles of light on the cracked ground. Daniel listened. The pulse inside him beat slowly. Warm, alive, guiding. He whispered into the cold air, "Tell me where you are." Her voice returned, soft and tired. "I am trying. Everything is dark. I feel trapped. I do not know my place." Daniel stopped walking. He felt her fear in his own heart. It mixed with his own fear, creating a heavy weight in his chest. The bond was not only a voice. It carried emotions. Her feelings moved through him like currents of water. He took a deep breath and continued forward. As he walked deeper into the ruins, something strange happened. Every time he stepped in the right direction, the pulse grew warmer. When he stepped the wrong way, it weakened. It was like a living compass inside his chest. He followed the warmth. The closer he got to the far side of the destroyed city, the more he felt her presence. Her fear became clearer. Her voice whispered short messages. "I feel stone. I hear water drops. It smells cold. I am not alone." The last words made Daniel freeze. Not alone. He rushed forward, following the pulse. He crossed a broken marketplace where alien stalls lay overturned. Metal signs hung by a thread. A crashed vehicle rested on its side, its lights still blinking weakly. A small fire burned near a broken pipeline. As he passed it, he felt a sudden wave of pain inside his chest. Her pain. Daniel dropped to one knee. He pressed his hand to his heart. "Lysra, what is happening?" Her voice came like a weak breath. "Someone touched me. Someone moved me." Daniel stood again, pushing past the pain. "Are you hurt?" "I do not know. I cannot feel my body. Only your warmth." He swallowed hard. "Stay with me. I am almost there." She whispered very softly, "I am trying. Please hurry." Daniel walked faster, almost running. The ruins grew darker. The air felt damp and cold. He entered an old part of the city where buildings had sunk into the ground. Holes opened in the streets like deep pits. Water dripped from broken pipes overhead. The bond in his chest pulled harder. He reached the entrance of a half-collapsed tunnel. A broken sign lay nearby. It said the tunnel led to old shelters below the city. Daniel stepped inside. The darkness swallowed him. He heard slow drops of water hitting stone. Each drop echoed across the long tunnel. The air was cold and thick. His own footsteps sounded louder here. The pulse inside him grew warmer. "She is close," he whispered. He continued deeper. Then he saw it. A faint blue glow coming from behind a fallen pillar. Daniel rushed toward it. He climbed over cracked stones and pulled himself through a narrow gap. On the other side was a wide underground chamber. Soft blue light pulsed from crystals growing on the walls. In the center of the chamber lay a long stone slab, and on the slab lay a shape covered in a white sheet. Daniel felt his breath stop. The pulse in his chest beat fast, strong, desperate. He walked closer. His hands shook. He reached for the sheet. Her voice whispered inside him, "I feel you close. Please do not leave me." Daniel pulled the sheet back. There she was. Lysra, Her body looked the same as in the hospital. Pale silver skin, closed eyes, hair spread like silver threads. She looked still, cold, and lifeless, but the pulse inside him proved she was not gone. Daniel touched her hand. It felt ice cold. A wave of emotion hit him from inside the bond. Her voice came again. I feel your hand. I feel you. I am here. Daniel looked around the chamber and saw something strange. The walls were covered in glowing symbols. Alien writing. Ritual markers. Someone had brought her here on purpose. Someone had placed her body in a ritual chamber. Daniel looked back at her cold face and whispered, I found you. Her voice answered inside him. I knew you would. Before Daniel could understand what this place was, a sharp sound echoed behind him. A stone shifted. A shadow moved. Someone was in the chamber with him, and they did not want him there. Daniel spun around fast. His heart pounded. The chamber was silent for a moment. Then a soft scrape echoed again. Something was moving behind the stone pillars. He stepped in front of Lysera's cold body to protect her. His hands shook, but he raised them anyway. He had no weapon except a metal tool in his pocket. Yet he stood strong. The pulse in his chest beat harder, as if warning him. A shadow stepped into blue light. It was an alien man, tall and wrapped in dark robes. His skin was marked with blue patterns, and his eyes glowed faint gold. He looked like a priest or a ritual keeper. He stared at Daniel without blinking. Daniel tried to speak calmly. I am not here to harm anyone. I am here for her. The robed alien looked at Lysera's body. His eyes narrowed. You should not be here. Human, you do not understand what this place is. Daniel stepped closer to Lysera. Then explain it. Why was she taken from the hospital? Why bring her here? The alien man walked slowly in a circle, inspecting Daniel like someone studying a strange animal. She was brought here because she carried the old mark, a soul that can return, a spirit that can rise again. But the ritual is incomplete. Daniel shook his head. She died in the hospital. Her people abandoned her. The man raised an eyebrow. And yet you hear her voice. Daniel felt a shock go through him. You know about the bond. The robed alien nodded. Yes, only the one who signs the bond hears the voice of the one between worlds. You carry her soul inside your chest. The pulse is proof. Daniel pressed his hand to his heart. The warmth filled his fingers. She is still alive. I feel her. The alien priest looked at him with sharp interest. You are not her kind, but the bond accepted you. That is rare. Daniel looked down at Lysera. Her body was still cold, but the pulse inside him kept growing stronger, as if her spirit pulled from far away. He whispered, Lysera, can you hear me? Her voice came gently inside his mind. I hear you. You are close. Daniel felt a sudden rush of relief. She is here. She is trying to come back. Help her. The robed man walked to the stone slab and placed his hands on the glowing runes around it. I can call her spirit, but the bond must guide her. You are the bridge. Daniel nodded quickly. I will do anything. The alien priest looked straight into his eyes. Then you must be calm. Her spirit follows your heartbeat. If you panic, she will be lost in the dark. Daniel swallowed and took deep breaths. The pulse inside him steadied. He placed his hand gently on Lysera's cold shoulder. The priest began chanting in a slow rhythm. The blue symbols on the walls grew brighter. The crystals in the chamber pulsed with soft light. The air changed. It felt thick, warm, alive. The pulse inside Daniel's chest grew stronger. It synced with the glowing chamber. It beat slowly, like a drum guiding someone home. Then Daniel felt something new, a second heartbeat, very faint, coming from Lysera's body. He leaned closer and whispered, I am here. Follow my voice. Her voice returned, stronger than before. I see light. The robed priest raised his hand higher. The blue walls shone brighter. The air hummed like electricity. Suddenly Lysera's body glowed softly. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. Her fingers twitched. Daniel's breath caught. Lysera, come back. Her voice whispered inside him. I am trying. Do not let go. The pulse inside Daniel's chest burned warm and bright. The glow on Lysra's body spread across her arms and face. Her chest rose slightly. Her lips parted as if she wanted to breathe. Then her eyes opened. Bright violet light flashed from them for a moment. Daniel felt the bond spark inside him like fire. Lysra gasped and air filled her lungs in a sudden, desperate breath. She looked around in confusion. Then her gaze locked on Daniel. Her eyes softened with recognition. "You came for me." Daniel felt tears in his eyes. "I told you I would." She slowly tried to sit up. He helped her. Her hands were warm again. Her heartbeat, faint but real, echoed softly through the bond. The robed alien stepped back with awe. She has awakened. The bond gave her new life. Lysra leaned her forehead against Daniel's chest, feeling the warmth of the pulse she shared with him. "You saved me. You chose me. Now we are one breath." Before Daniel could respond, the chamber shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Stones cracked. The priest shouted, "We are not alone. Someone followed you here." Daniel grabbed Lysra protectively. The cavern entrance darkened as several armed figures stepped inside. Not soldiers, not doctors, royal guards of her species. And they did not look grateful. They looked angry. They had come for the human, who bonded with the reborn girl. The royal guards stepped into the glowing cavern like dark shadows. Their silver armor reflected the blue crystal light. Their helmets had narrow slits, showing only glowing yellow eyes full of anger. Daniel immediately stood in front of Lysra. His hand shook, but he did not move away. The pulse in his chest grew hot and strong, warning him. The guards spread out, trapping them from all sides. One guard pointed his long spear at Daniel. "There he is, the human who violated the ancient bond." Daniel felt his stomach twist. "I did not violate anything. She asked me. She was dying." Lysra tried to step forward, but her body was still weak. The bond carried her fear into Daniel's heart. He held her hand tightly. Another guard spoke with a cold voice. "The bond between worlds is forbidden. A human cannot take the place of our people. It is insult. It is crime." Daniel clenched his fists. "She would have died alone. None of you stayed with her. None of you cared." The guards reacted as if he had struck them. Their anger rose like fire. Several aimed their weapons at Daniel. Lysra suddenly moved in front of him. Her violet eyes glowed brighter than before. "Stop. This man saved my soul. He signed the bond when my people abandoned me. You left me to die. He did not." The guards hesitated. The robed priest stepped forward. "She is reborn. The bond gave her a second life. You should be grateful to the human, not angry." But the leader of the guards raised his hand. "No, the bond between a human and a noble blood is forbidden. She carries royal markings. A bond with him ruins our honor." Daniel felt the words sting deep. Royal. He had bonded with someone important without knowing it. Lysra squeezed his hand. "You did nothing wrong. You saved me." Her voice carried through the bond and warmed Daniel's chest. The feeling gave him courage. Daniel took a step forward. "What happens now? Are you here to kill me?" The guards did not answer. Their silence was worse than anger. Lysra's eyes widened in fear. "No, they cannot harm you. I am alive because of him. If he dies, the bond breaks. My second life breaks with it." The robed priest nodded slowly. "Killing the bonded human means killing her again. It is forbidden." The guards exchanged dark looks. Their leader stepped closer, lowering his spear toward Daniel's throat. "We cannot kill him, but we can remove him. The bond will fade if they are separated." Lysra shook her head fast. "No, you cannot take him away." Daniel stood still. He felt her panic enter his heart through the bond. Her fear was warm, sharp, and powerful. He held her shoulders gently. "It is all right. I am here." She pressed her forehead against his chest. "I will not let them take you." The guard leader spoke again. "You are too weak, Lysra. Your spirit is still forming. You cannot fight us. You cannot protect him." Lysra stepped back. Her eyes glowed brighter. The blue crystals in the chamber responded, pulsing with her heartbeat. Daniel felt her power move through the bond. It entered his veins like warm light. His vision sharpened. His heartbeat matched hers. Lysra spread her hand. Her voice echoed with strength. He is mine. I chose him. The bond accepted him. I will not give him up. Energy rippled across the chamber. The guards took a step back, surprised by her sudden strength. The cavern roof shook with the pressure of her power. Daniel felt it too. It was as if her heartbeat was giving him strength he never had. He felt taller, braver, unbreakable. One guard whispered, "She should not be this strong. She is newly reborn." The priest smiled slightly. The bond is feeding her. His spirit strengthens hers. He is not ordinary. The guard leader raised a spear again. It does not matter. She must return with us. The council will decide her future. The human cannot come. He has no place in our world. Lysra stepped in front of Daniel once more. He is my bonded one. He is part of my soul. If you take me away, I will break. If you separate us, I will die again. The guards froze. They were warriors, not executioners. The leader slowly lowered his spear. Then come with us willingly. But the human stays behind. If he follows, the council will see his attack. Daniel felt a cold weight in his chest. The bond tightened painfully. Lysra shook her head. No, if I leave him, my spirit falls back into darkness. Daniel held her hand. We will stay together. The cavern rumbled again. The priest stepped between everyone. There is one choice. The bond is strong. The council must witness it. If they see that her life depends on him, they cannot separate them. The guards looked uncertain. Lysra looked at Daniel and whispered softly into his chest, "Come with me, no matter what happens." Daniel nodded without fear. "I will not leave you." The guard leader finally spoke. "Then both of you come. But remember, the council will judge your bond, and humans rarely survive their judgment." Daniel squeezed Lysra's hand. "I am ready." Lysra looked at him with soft eyes. "I am with you." They walked together toward the guards, bound by one heartbeat and one shared fate. The royal guards escorted Daniel and Lysra out of the cavern and into the ruined city. The night sky glowed faint red from distant fires. The wind was cold and sharp. Daniel stayed close to Lysra, holding her hand as they walked. She leaned against him, still weak from her rebirth, yet her eyes carried a new life. The bond inside Daniel pulsed warmly with every step. He felt her emotions clearly. Fear, hope, strength, all mixed inside him like one heartbeat. Lysra whispered softly, "Do not be afraid. I will protect you." Daniel squeezed her hand. "I am not afraid anymore. We face this together." The guards marched ahead, their armor clinking loudly. The robed priest followed behind them. The group headed toward a tall building at the edge of the city. It was cracked but still standing. Bright symbols glowed on its walls. It was the council hall. When they reached the entrance, the guard stopped Daniel. "No human has entered this hall in 100 years. Lysra stepped forward. "He is my bonded one. If he does not enter, I fall." The guards hesitated, but the leader stepped aside. Inside the hall, blue flames burned in tall metal bowls. The large chamber smelled of incense. Alien nobles sat in a wide circle. Their silver robes shimmered. Their eyes focused on Lysra and then shifted to Daniel with suspicion and anger. One elder spoke first. "Lysra of the royal line, you were found dead in the hospital. You returned through ancient bond. Explain who this human is." Lysra lifted her chin proudly. "He is Daniel Ward. He saved me. He signed the bond when no one else stood with me." Another elder leaned forward. "A human signing the sacred bond breaks every rule of our traditions." Daniel felt their hostility hit him like heat, but the pulse inside his chest steadied him. Lysra felt it too. She placed her hand over his heart. "It was my choice," she said. "No one forced me. I asked him. I begged him. And he answered." The circle of elders whispered among themselves. Their voices echoed across the hall. The eldest counselor raised her staff. "Human, Step forward. Daniel walked into the center of the chamber. His legs shook, but he kept his back straight. He felt Lysra behind him like a warm light. The elder spoke again. Do you understand that the bond you accepted ties your life to hers? If she dies, you fall. If you fall, she dies again. Daniel nodded. I understand. The elder's eyes narrowed. Why did you accept the bond of a stranger? Daniel took a deep breath. I saw someone who was alone, someone who deserved kindness. She did not deserve to die with no one at her side. I signed because no one else cared. The hall grew silent. Lysra placed her hand on his shoulder. The bond pulsed bright inside him, like she was sharing her warmth. Another elder spoke harshly. A noble cannot bind to an outsider. This bond threatens our bloodline. Lysra stepped forward. Her voice was firm. My bloodline has meaning only if my heart has meaning. I choose him. I need him. Without him, my second life falls into darkness. The elders exchanged uneasy looks. One elder struck the floor with his staff. Then we test the bond. If it is weak, it breaks. If it breaks, the human leaves this world. If it is strong, we must accept it. Guards brought a glowing sphere to the center of the chamber. It pulsed with light that matched no heartbeat. The elder raised the sphere. Both of you place your hands on it. Daniel and Lysra stepped forward together. Their fingers touched the sphere. It reacted instantly, glowing brighter. The elder spoke. Now feel each other. If your spirits are not truly linked, the sphere will not respond. Daniel focused on Lysra. He felt her heartbeat through the bond. He felt her fear and hope. He opened his heart and let all his emotions flow toward her. Lysra did the same. Her violet eyes glowed softly as she let the bond open completely. The sphere flashed with brilliant light. The elders gasped. The sphere pulsed with 2 heartbeats, but they were perfectly matched. One rhythm, one flow, one life. A guard stepped back in shock. This has never happened with a human. The robed priest bowed his head. The bond is pure. It is true. It is strong. Lysra turned to Daniel. You share my life. You share my soul. Daniel smiled softly. I will never leave you. The hall shook slightly. Not from danger. From the energy of the bond filling the room with warmth. But then an elder stood and raised his hand. Even if the bond is true, this union brings danger. Enemies will rise. Many will not accept it. Daniel stepped forward. Then I will fight for her. I will protect her. I may be human, but I am not weak. He looked at the circle of elders without fear. She is my bonded one. I will stand with her against your enemies or mine. Lysra's eyes filled with emotion. Through the bond, he felt her heart open completely. She whispered, almost breathless, This is why the bond chose you. The elder lowered his head slowly. The council will decide your fate at sunrise. Guard stepped forward again. Until then, both of you will be watched. Lysra held Daniel's hand tightly. At sunrise, our lives will change. Together. Daniel nodded. I am ready. But outside the hall, hidden in the shadows, another force watched them. A group that did not care about tests or council laws. They wanted the human dead before sunrise. The guards escorted Daniel and Lysra to a quiet chamber inside the council hall. Blue flames lit the room. Tall windows looked over the ruined city, where smoke still rose from distant fires. The night felt calm, but something in the air carried tension. Daniel sensed danger. The bond in his chest grew uneasy. Lysra sat beside him on a stone bench. Her fingers brushed his hand. Are you afraid? Daniel shook his head. Not while you are with me. She smiled softly, then leaned her head against his shoulder. When I died, I felt nothing but cold. When I woke again, I felt you. Your heartbeat called me back. You gave me a second life. Daniel touched her hand gently. I only wanted you to have peace. Lysra whispered quietly. You gave me more than peace. You gave me reason. Before Daniel could speak, a loud sound echoed through the hall. Heavy footsteps, metal armor. But it was not the royal guards from earlier. These steps were faster, sharper, filled with intent. Lysra stood instantly. It is them. Daniel stepped in front of her. Who? Her voice was tense. The Purity Guard, a secret faction. They believe no human should ever bond with our kind. They want the bond destroyed by killing you. Daniel's chest tightened. And if I die? Lysera's voice broke. Then I die again. My spirit returns to the dark. The footsteps came closer. Daniel grabbed Lysera's hand. No one is taking you from me. The door exploded inward. A group of armored Purity Guards rushed into the chamber with weapons raised. Their helmets glowed with sharp white lights. Their eyes burned with anger. The leader shouted, "The council cannot protect you. The bond must be erased. Step aside and let the human fall." Lysera moved in front of Daniel. Her violet eyes lit with fierce light. "You touch him and you end my life too." The guard did not care. They stepped forward. Daniel felt the pulse inside his chest burn bright. It spread into his arms and legs. His body felt stronger, lighter, faster. Through the bond, he felt Lysera's rising power mixing with his own. Lysera whispered, "The bond is giving you my strength. Use it. Do not hold back." The guards charged. Daniel stepped forward before they reached Lysera. He blocked the first strike with his arm. Instead of breaking, he stood firm. The guard stumbled backward in shock. Daniel grabbed the guard's weapon and twisted it out of his hand. It felt as light as a stick. Another guard swung at him, but Daniel moved faster than he ever had. He ducked and pushed the guard away with strength that felt impossible. Lysera raised her hands. Blue light gathered in her palms. She released it in a wave that pushed 3 guards across the room. They hit the stone wall hard and fell unconscious. Daniel fought beside her. Their movements synced like 2 parts of the same heartbeat. When he struck, she followed. When she pushed enemies back, he stepped forward to defend her. The leader of the Purity Guard roared in frustration. This bond makes him dangerous. He must fall. He charged straight at Daniel with a glowing spear. Daniel stepped back, but the leader was faster. The spear shot toward Daniel's chest. Lysera screamed, "No!" She threw herself in front of Daniel. Her hands touched the spear. Blue energy exploded from her palms. The spear shattered into pieces. The shock wave threw the leader backward, crashing into a pillar. Lysera fell to her knees. Daniel caught her. "Lysera, are you hurt?" She shook her head weakly. "The bond protected me, and it protected you." The remaining guards backed away. Fear finally reached them. The robed priest rushed into the room with royal guards behind him. "Stop this madness. The ceremony begins now. The council has reached a decision." The Purity Guard tried to resist, but the royal guards forced them down. The priest guided Daniel and Lysera toward the large hall. The council elders stood in a circle. The room was full of nobles and warriors watching in silence. The eldest counselor lifted her staff. "Lysera of the royal line, Daniel Ward of humanity, the bond between you has been tested in spirit and in danger. You fought for each other. You gave life to each other. Your bond is true." A wave of whispers spread across the hall. The elder continued, "We cannot break a living bond. We cannot destroy what your spirits created. Instead, we accept it." Lysera's eyes filled with tears. Daniel felt her joy inside the bond like warm sunlight. The elder stepped forward. "Kneel together." Daniel and Lysera knelt side by side. Their hands touched. Their heartbeats synced through the bond. A soft blue light rose around them. The elder spoke with respect. "Let the bond be witnessed by 2 worlds, human and alien, life and rebirth, heart to heart." Lysera turned to Daniel. Her violet eyes glowed with emotion. "You saved me from death. You chose me when no one else did." Daniel smiled gently. "And you gave me something worth fighting for." The elder lowered her staff. "Rise as bonded partners. Rise as one." Daniel and Lysera stood. The entire hall bowed. For the first time in the history of both species, a human and alien stood united by life itself. Lysera placed her hand on Daniel's chest. "From now on, wherever you go, I go." Daniel held her close. "And wherever I stand, you will stand beside me." The new dawn light entered the hall through the tall windows. 2 worlds watched them. 2 hearts beat together. And a bond stronger than life itself became the beginning of a new legend